What are the things to look forward to most in life after 30? Caring a lot less what people think of you. It's your life, not theirs. Absolutely. I have found great comfort and confidence in my 30s. Once you stop caring what people think or about fitting into the status quo, it's so liberating. My favorite is when someone asks you a personal question and instead of explaining your reasoning, or justifying your life choices, you just say, no. Lol. Someone I know said to me the other day, I see you've been wearing the same jeans for the past 2 days. My response was simply, yes. And that was it. The concept of being cool, popular, doesn't really have any meaning to me anymore, so I have zero reason to keep toxic people around. I might have before, just to get invited to more social things. Sometimes I go to cringe and I just feel lost. I think my natural response to some of those posts are, yeah, some humans do that sometimes. No big deal. I feel more stable in my life and personal identity. I have solid friends and a great relationship with my wife, and we have a son. I'm excited to watch him grow and maybe have more. I have more money now than I ever have. It's not a lot, but it's plenty for me. My son is 2 months and will be 20 when I'm 50. I was worried about having a child, as to an extent almost everyone is, but I do look forward to being younger than my dad was, and having more energy. He's a great guy, but I'm 30 and he's over 70. He just kind of slowed down when I was coming into things on my own. Huh, that's interesting. I'm the opposite. My parents had me when they were young, and because of that, I felt forced to grow up and mature while they continued to be a little immature. Decorating my own house, buying a nice car, doing whatever I want whenever I want, because why would it be crazy painting the living room blue at 3 a.m.? I'd love to be able to do any one of those things, let alone all of them. It'd be nice to be able to afford to not have to live in a shared flat and ride the bus anymore. Since almost everyone posting comments thinks your life is over after 30, I'll counter with the fact that it's when you get more solid in your career and making more money. I enjoy my freedom that I sure as couldn't afford in my 20s. If you take care of your body, you'll age way better, too. You're still young enough to change things you don't like while being old enough to have life experience and enjoy the things you do like. Yeah, this has the best parts. In my 20s, I did things because they were what I could afford to do. The clothes I bought were because they were the ones I could afford to buy. The trips I took were the trips I could afford to take. The car I drove was the car I could afford to drive. Now I'm in my mid-30s and I'm at a place in my career where I can do and buy the things I want to, rather than just afford. I'm making major life decisions based on what I want to do, not necessarily what my bank account says. We're planning on moving out of our current state because we want to, not because our jobs are taking us there. I take vacation time when it suits me, not when the deals are the best. I don't immediately look for the cheapest seat on a plane or at a concert. I choose the one I want. It's pretty great being in my 30s because I feel like I can be who or what I want to. Sure, there's downsides. I had a bad ankle injury last year and that's now just a reality of my life from now on. I have to pay attention to what I eat because it can change how I feel for days. I have to be more dedicated to taking care of myself in general. But the fact I have the ability to is nice. I'm digging my 30s a lot. Having money but not being able to eat all the junk food in the world like you promised yourself when you were a kid, because calories. I'm about to turn 27, but this already hit me hard. Was buying all the and drinking all the alcohols. Gained about 20 pounds my first winter after moving states as a career move. Made it all go away, but even it seems like it is only a few days of neglect and it starts packing back on. There are many great things about passing the 30-year line, but the best is that people mostly stop trying to guide you or tell you to live your life differently. Seems like after 3 decades, people start to accept that you are who you are and you are going to do what you want. Note that this does not apply to self-declared group moms or annoying Jesus people. Lol. Ask a woman about being early 30s and child-free. People are weird with sky daddies and babies. 36 and child-free here. I feel like at this point other people should have given up and stopped trying to convince me to have children, but apparently I'm wrong. I imagine that when I'm 50 there will still be people who will tell me I should have children after finding out I never had any, because apparently the logic that everybody is supposed to have children. That's why we're here. trumps any argument. Walking aimlessly from room to room in your tartan slippers, never quite knowing what you're actually doing. You buried the lead. Now I'm excited that I get to own a pair of tartan slippers. I'm old and have a pair of plush monster feet slippers. People's expressions are great. This is where the not giving about appearances bit comes in. Makes me laugh, so what anyone else thinks. I'm already over 30, but with each passing day I get more excited about aging into my grumpy old hag personality. I'm 19, but I can't wait until I can unironically call myself a crusty old cat lady. Well, you can both get the off my lawn. And take your scabby cats with you. HMMPH. 10 more years of taking your body for granted before starts randomly going out. 33-year-old guy here. I love being this age. I'm confident in who I am. I no longer live in fear of overdrafting my bank account. My personal relationships have deepened and I'm less consumed by drama and dumb. I no longer care about people judging me. I dress better, eat healthier, and am more aware of my body and how it reacts to things. I declared age 36 as my beginning of not caring. Oh man, it freed me so much. It's actually why I was able to restart my life, establish a relationship with an amazing woman who turned out to become my wife, and completely change my lifestyle to one of more comfort, satisfaction, and general happiness. New pains that show up randomly and you don't know if they're temporary or permanent. Yesterday my right ear started vibrating loudly and rapidly and I was like, is this my life now? It went away, though. Phew. Muscle spasm. There's a muscle in your middle ear space called the tensor tympani. It happens sometimes for no apparent reason. When we're younger, we're very entrenched in things like sports, celebrity, music, etc. That makes us think life is over at 30. We see pop stars fall off, athletes retire, and movie stars stop landing roles. But the truth is 30 can absolutely be the best time of your life. You become more comfortable with who you are. You make more money and work your way up the ladder. You get involved with hobbies. You start a family and your priorities change. 30 isn't bad. At all. I wish I could tell my younger self this, but instead I'll hope another young person will hear it and be comforted. Well, I'm 30 and just welcomed my daughter into this world about 2 hours ago. As an old guy, you actually have the accumulated experience and brain power in your 40s to start figuring out your life and problems, usually, how you've been shooting yourself in the foot all this time. If you can stay in shape and keep your health, the 40s and 50s can be great. It isn't till the 60s that it starts getting harder to function and your body is obviously going downhill no matter what you do. You can slow it, and that's seriously worth it. But you can't stop it. You'll finally get young, single, attractive women to leave you alone. Skipping social engagements to go to bed instead and nobody cares. People start taking you more seriously. A 20-something is still mostly viewed not as a kid but as young adult. Your 20s are kind of like the first easy level of a video game after the tutorial where at the end, you finally get the gravity gun and then the real game starts. If you didn't have kids in your 20s, your 30s are fantastic. I can't wait to live a comfortable life in my 30s and just do whatever I want with my savings. Move to Japan. Why not? Vacation in Fiji. Yes. Buying delicious good quality good and spending time with hobbies and friends. Count me in. Wanting a dog or two may throw a little wrench in that plan, but I'm hoping I'll earn enough to pay a friend to care for them or get them into a doggy daycare. Owning my own house and not having to live with random dipshit roommates. You have more money but less free time. The way this manifests for me is that I used to finish more video games but had to save for the ones I wanted, and PC upgrades were few and far between. Now I have a $3,000 PC that will run anything and 500 plus games on Steam and probably haven't played 75% of them. It's really sad that people think your life is over after 30. You still have most of your life left after 30. Your youth is no more valuable than your life after 30. That sort of thing is usually propagated by miserable adults who are jealous of a younger person's youth. That's another thing you can spot pretty easily when you're in your 30s. Bitter adults. In your 20s, you see these people and think, oh no, am I doing something wrong? And in your 30s, you see this sort of behavior and you think, what a sour. Buying a nice house on the countryside with a homely kitchen, a sizable garden and my own stables, so I can own a horse. Having the financial stability and an at-home career would also enable me to adopt a cockatoo. I could live in peace with my pets and my plants, hopefully also with a wife someday. My goal in life is kind of to become a sweet, old lady who's your grandma's special friend and who kids love to visit at the elderly social club. I just want to cook people proper meals, give them sweets from my dainty purse, pinch their cheeks and feed the birds without being a weirdo. I'm not going to be a grandmother, but you bet I will be the most adorable little old lady ever. Never stop dreaming. I met my now husband when I was 30 and honestly, my 30s have been amazing because he is in it. By the time you hit 30 you know what you want in a relationship and know what you won't tolerate, and I love that life is just a fun adventure with my best friend the last few years. We have lived together in 3 countries so far, and honestly I keep thanking my lucky stars that coronavirus hit after we met. This would be awful without him. Plus now I have enough disposable income that I'm in my 30s that we can buy a $200 Lego set to build together. Basically my childhood dream realized. Being old enough to retire and have invested enough to be comfortable. Coming up on 70 and bought a BMW GSA and am having blast. Seniors can have a ball. The surprisingly sudden ability to not give about most things. After 30, many begin making wiser choices and start thinking longer term when it comes to decision making. Instead of going to others for advice, people start coming to you for sharing of ideas and perspective. Eventually retiring. No, I'm just kidding. Being able to ever retire, could you just imagine? At 21 you go out to a club and bump into people your age who look like Instagram models. Meanwhile you're pretty average. You can help but compare, cause hey, you're 21. You end up feeling ugly. At 41 you go out to a pub and you bump into people your age who have fairly average bodies. Quite a few are fatter than you, if you've stayed average size. Except you actually don't give a anymore, cause hey, you're 41 and have been an adult of a long time.